Hello. Yeah, I guess I was trying to speak, but somehow voice wasn't coming. So, hello everyone. My name is Ravi, and I'm your instructor for this particular class. And thanks a lot for giving us this opportunity to basically share our knowledge of Hadoop and big data with you guys. So let's get started with a small introduction of everyone. After that, I'll run you through what exactly we do in the course, and after that we'll have a small sneak peek of the course. So let's get started. So let's start with a small introduction of everyone. Anand, if you could introduce yourself, that will be great. Yeah, Anand, you're unmuted.
Okay.
Yeah, hi Anand.
Hi. Good evening.
So if you could start with introduction as to what you work on and what are your expectations from the course, that will be great.
Okay. See, I'm right now working in data warehousing. I have some projects that are coming up for Hadoop. I want to know more about it. I'm more like a enterprise solution architect working for a healthcare organization. Okay. And they are trying to introduce Hadoop and all this data scientist technology. So I'm trying to equip myself. That's all.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, we'll make sure, but by the time the course ends, you'll have a good amount of stuff which will help you get started with Hadoop.
By the way, I am a colleague of Suman Gajwali.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right.
Section Global.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Welcome.
You can ask him about me.
Oh, sure. Awesome. So, yeah, welcome, and we'll make sure that you know this journey becomes really fulfilling for you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is it all administration, or I do get some exposure to development as well?
Yeah, you get both. So I'll explain you the whole roadmap of the course, and we can then see what all we'll cover, and then you'll get complete idea of that. So right. In a minute we'll start with that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Debayuti. Yeah. Please introduce yourself, Debayuti.
Hi Ravi, hi guys. I am also working in a product-based healthcare organization, and I am part of the data warehousing team as well.
Okay.
we are working with, our data warehouse is focused on meaningful use, which is U.S. government regulated. So we work with a whole bunch of different clinical quality reports and stuff like that. My company, they are thinking about switching to big data, but I don't see many people talking about it. We are still using SQL Server in a single system architecture. I want to understand this system, and I know a bit of R programming as well, so I kind of want to evangelize my people to work using these things because they are much more capable than what we are using right now.
Okay. So getting into Hadoop, and your organization is already exploring, and you want to enable yourself and few of the folks on the same. Sure. So this particular course will touch base most of it so that you get started. So I'll just run you through the whole curriculum. Hi Kumar. Yeah. Welcome Devat. Yeah. Hi Kumar. Please go ahead and introduce yourself, Kumar. Kumar? Yeah, Kumar, if there is a problem with your mic, then feel free to go ahead and introduce yourself on chat, and I'll introduce you to the group. All right. We have Lakshman. Hi, Lakshman.
Hey, hi. Sorry,
Yeah, hi, Lakshman.
I'm
Yeah.
just setting up my microphone.
Oh, not a problem.
Yeah, I'm actually working in a product-based company, actually internet working, and currently I'm doing a VA project, and I just want to understand more about this Hadoop and how we can utilize our projects.
Perfect. Sure. Yeah, thanks, thanks Lakshman for joining in, and I'll soon touch base as to what this course would do to basically help you get there.
Sure.
Yeah. Hi Nagendra. Please go ahead. Nagendra? Yeah, if you could introduce yourself. I see a lot of background. Yeah, in case, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Hi Pranav, Narendra. I'm working as a developer, senior developer in IT service company.
Okay.
Just I want to enhance my knowledge on big data analysis for the upcoming projects in our company. So basically I'm working on a mainframe technology right now.
Okay, you're working on mainframe right now.
Yep.
So we have Kumar, who's very clear that wants to learn Hadoop. Welcome, Kumar. Yeah, hi Sandeep. Please go ahead and introduce yourself. Hi Sandeep.
Hi Ravi, my name is Tim. Yeah, hi Ravi. Were you able to hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Please go ahead.
Yeah. I'm a Java developer, and even I work in the healthcare sector. And mostly the main motive and the reason why I'm learning Hadoop is because I have a lot of in my job there is a lot of scope where I'll be doing a lot of data analysis. So that's the main motive in which that's the main motive for which I'm learning Hadoop. That's the first reason. And the thing is, I want to enhance my knowledge on the Hadoop. That's the main reason.
Okay. Sure. I guess a lot of healthcare guys, and I think we should probably have this course as Hadoop in healthcare. Probably that will be very helpful. All right. Welcome, Sandeep.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Stephen. Yeah, so Stephen is an admin. So we have Stephen, who's an admin and wants to understand big data from admin's perspective. Sure. Thanks, Stephen. We have Suresh. Hi Suresh, if you could introduce yourself. Yeah, I've unmuted you. Or you can introduce yourself on chat. All right. So yes, Suresh, whenever yeah, whenever you're ready, just let me know so I'll unmute you, or you can introduce yourself to chat. So let's get started with goals of this course. Now, this particular course is it's more like a complete big data course where we virtually touch everything. It's around 40 to 42 hours of course. So let's see what we are going to talk about. So the first section is Hadoop fundamentals. In this section we talk about what is big data, what is Hadoop, we talk about what is HDFS, talk about what is MapReduce, we talk about Hadoop ecosystem where we touch base Pig, Hive, Uzi, Scoop, Flare. So that is section number 1, which is Hadoop fundamentals. The next section is hands-on exercises where we talk about, or where we personally do it. So basically I'll be giving you a virtual machine and on CentOS, and what we'll be doing is we'll set up Hadoop on a single node cluster. We'll run MapReduce, Pig, Hive, Scoop, and the third section of this course is multi-node setup. So we do is we buy 2 machines on Amazon and we basically set up a multi-node cluster. So we have Hadoop fundamentals, we do a lot of hands-on, and then we talk about multi-node setup. So this is our first logical end to the course where we will have a 20 question test. Now this 20 question test is certainly to basically validate how much you've understood. So this 20 question test is certainly to validate how much you've understood the course, and if you fail, then I can become rich, because every time you fail you have to pay $10,000 to my account. So that is the way I can become rich. So anyways, jokes apart. So this will be like phase 1 of the course, and you'll have a proper a test around that. Now the next thing is, after this we go deep into the development. So what we start with is planning your Hadoop cluster. Then when it comes to MapReduce, we get into dissecting your MapReduce program. So we'll go line by line, understand how MapReduce programs are written. We'll talk about advanced MapReduce, where we talk about distributed cache. We'll talk about combiners. We'll talk about partitioners. Talk about MapReduce unit testing. We'll have advanced MapReduce and so on. Next to that, we get into ETL or BI. We get into Pig. We have involved exercise on Hive. and do a POC using Talent. So basically, in this particular case, what we do is we install Talent, we connect it to our Hadoop cluster, and we do certain POCs. Okay, so that is the development aspect of Hadoop. And again, here you have a 20-question test on the development concepts. Yes, along with that, there are 3 assignments that you need to do, where you will write pseudocode for searching, sorting, and indexing in MapReduce. So you'll have to submit this assignment. I'm not going to do that for you. You will do it for me, and I'll validate it with you guys. Okay? So you'll have to flex your muscles here. And then we go to the last phase of the course, where it is Hadoop administration. Now in Hadoop administration, what we really do is we first talk about scheduling, most important concept. Then we talk about monitoring your Hadoop cluster. We talk about troubleshooting and maintaining your Hadoop cluster. So we talk about scheduling, monitoring your Hadoop cluster, troubleshooting your Hadoop cluster. We will also talk about Cloudera Manager to manage your cluster. All right. And again, after this, you have 20-question test on administration concepts. So that is the complete outline of the course. So yeah, before we get into the presentation, yeah, if any questions are there for this, let's spend 5 minutes in questions and then we go to the presentation. So is the whole curriculum clear? Okay. So the first question is, well, the answer is a yes, because actually if you see, there are 3 dimensions to Hadoop as of this very moment. Yeah, there are 3 dimensions where people use it. You know, roles perspective. One is administration, one is MapReduce development, and one is ETL. Now, if you are a ETL or a BI guy, Pig and Hive is most important. You don't necessarily need to know programming. You should be decently good at what is ETL, and then you learn Pig and Hive on top of it. If you are a developer who's a Java developer, then MapReduce developer is the next logical extension. So yes, here you need programming. If you want to be a top-notch MapReduce developer, you should first know Java, if that's your goal. If you're a ETL guy or a BI guy who wants to, or let's say data warehousing guy who wants to really add Hadoop in his own skill set, Pig and Hive would be his choice. He need not be a top-notch programmer. If you've already been administrating systems or you know, yeah, what do you call networks and all that stuff, Hadoop administration is the next logical step. All right. So depends on where you exactly are. If you are an admin, you don't need programming. If you are an ETL guy, you don't need Java as such. You can certainly do your stuff with Pig and Hive, which is much simpler to use. So we have a question. yes, you can certainly prepare for the certification. Just that how I would want it to be looking at is do the course one to 2 months, then apply for certifications. The point is certification in Hadoop is an expensive affair. It can cost you $299. So the questions as such are built on top of your basic understanding. They are really fantastic questions. Basically, they'll have basic principles, and on top of it, they sometimes ask you very good scenarios. So it's important that you do the course as well as work for it for 1 month or so, 1 to 2 months, get your hands dirty. Only then will I recommend to go for certification. So the next question is, how about an architect? Now, there are two types of, I mean, as per my limited understanding of the roles, there are two types of architects who fit in here. First are basically solution or enterprise architects. Okay, so basically enterprise architects, how I look at it is, or solution architects is, they basically define the end-to-end flow and how things should move, all the moving parts and stuff like that. So for those guys, this course will basically introduce them to the end-to-end workflow. Okay. Now, if you are a data architect, now data architect is kind of another role who basically defines how this whole data would play together, and multiple formats, how they are going to interoperate with each other. This course won't have too much on that particular part. So we are not really going to talk about data design or interoperability and stuff like that. So this course won't be of much help. So if you are a solution architect or an enterprise architect, where after this course you can go ahead and start looking at the complete big picture of Hadoop, and you say that, okay, this is this layer, this is this layer, this is where I should put this piece so things should work fine, this is how I should go about doing something. This course is going to be of help. But if you're a data architect who's already been into schema designs and then interoperability, how data is going to play with each other and all that stuff, this course is really not much of help. Yeah, honestly. So the course and 2 months of hard work will make yourself scalable in the market. Absolutely. So Stephen says, absolutely. I know of a couple of students who have made it to the next job after getting certified. Now, having said that, neither do we what you call commit, neither do we say that, okay, we will get you there. It sometimes depends on your own interest, as well as how well you can sell yourself in the market. I mean, selling is a skill which actually certainly Okay. Yeah, Satish, I guess there is some problem with your speaker. Yeah, so that's about it. And so we have another question, which is, see, schedule, Satish will be the best man to tell you. Then we have, okay, fantastic. So we have a very involved question. Okay. So again, honestly, it's more like a JD, and end of the day, that company decides what they want. Okay, you cannot get everything in one person, but let's put it this way: if you would want to qualify as a Hadoop guy from BI, ETL, DW perspective, here's what you need. You first need solid understanding of BI. That's kind of your past work. You need to understand Hadoop as an ecosystem on a very high level, and you need to be superb at Big and Hive. Okay, so solid understanding of BI, DW, and stuff like that. Then you need to know how Hadoop works and Big and Hive. That is what will basically get you closer. Now, if every what you call every job opening, when that opens up, people actually look like that they want a James Bond or a Spider-Man, but that doesn't happen. To keep life simple, if you're really looking at from that perspective, solid understanding of BI and DW, Hadoop basically is an ecosystem, how it works and all that moving parts, and you need to be super solid at Big and Hive, if at all that is the case. Commercial stuff like Teradata and all that stuff, well, if you know it, great, but having said that, they are commercial and not every organization uses them. So it's a probability that if your organization has not used them, you will have no knowledge. So few companies use it, so it is kind of tricky. And when I say SQL, RDBMS, I guess BI, DW kind of caters to having a solid understanding of BI. Basically, yeah, having a solid understanding of SQL and RDBMS. If you are from background of data warehouse, BI or ETL, that's taken for granted that you are super good at either data designing or RDBMS, SQLs and all that stuff. So that is what is required from my perspective again. Yeah. So does it answer your question? Yeah. So how I would look at it is, this is your background, this is your past, let's say. You can be just 4 to 5 on 10 on this, but you have no choice then to be 8 on 10 on this. Only then you can certainly, the point is, Hadoop being an ecosystem which is pretty large, you really have to focus on what you want to be and then pursue that direction. If you're a BI guy, and Big and Hive would be more important than, let's say, MapReduce. So understand the concept, but put all your energy with all cylinders on Big and Hive, because that's going to get you the next thing. All right, so let's get into the presentation, and then we can take up the other questions as soon as we are done with the presentation. We'll just have a small sneak peek in the presentation. So in this particular presentation, what we are going to talk about is, we'll have a small introduction. We'll talk about what is big data. We'll talk about what is Hadoop. We'll talk about Hadoop ecosystem. And we'll then have HDFS and MapReduce deeper dive. finally questions. So let's start with a small introduction. In this particular presentation, what we typically cover in the course is we introduce you to big data, we introduce you to Hadoop, we explain you how Hadoop works, we get friendly with HDFS and MapReduce, and we get aware of the Hadoop ecosystem. We also understand how Hadoop is used in the real world. Small introduction of myself. My name is Ravi. 7 plus, soon going to be 8 years of IT experience. Cloudera certified Hadoop developer and administrator, and also certified on Java and PHP. Let's talk about what is big data. But before really getting into what is big data, let's understand why does it deserve your attention. Now, as per IDC, big data market will be $24 billion by 2016. Okay, so in like 3 years from now, it's going to be a $24 billion market. In 2 years from now, big data is going to create 4.4 million new jobs. Already there are new roles like data scientist. Data architects have become few of the guys who are like most sought after, and there are new roles like QA itself is going through a massive change. The development aspects are also going through a massive change. So there are good amount of roles that are getting created. Now forget about 2015 and 2016. As of this very moment, while we talk, United States alone is facing a shortage of 200,000 big data professionals. So either you are a startup, either you are a manager in a big company looking for the next big thing, or you are a big company and looking for expansion in or area where there is a lot of revenue. Big data is the place. It has a lot of opportunity for everyone. Now let's talk about what is big data. Big data is the amount of data that is beyond the storage and processing capabilities of a single physical machine. So in the most simplistic terms, okay, you have one machine, the best one that money can buy, it will still have few terabytes of storage and let's say a terabyte of RAM. That's huge. But your data still exceeds that. So you're talking about few terabytes of storage on a single machine, but your data is in hundreds of terabytes. So big data is any amount of data that a single machine cannot. So that is the most important aspect of big data, that's volume. Along with that, there are two more dimensions to big data. One is variety and third is velocity. So basically data that has extra large volume, and then there is variety and velocity. So in variety, what we talk about is, so far we've seen data and we visualize data as something in rows and columns, but what big data talks about is data can just be from any source and in any format, and it has capability to basically analyze the data for you. And third is velocity. Data comes to you at real fast. So imagine Facebook, let's say every 1 hour the amount of comments they generate and the photos they have and the likes they do, the amount of data that gets generated every 1 hour is massive. So these are three characteristics of big data. So they call it as 3 V's of big data. First is volume. For data to be referred as big data, generally the volume of the data has to be massive. Second is variety. For data to be referred as big data, generally the data would be semi-structured and may originate from variety of sources. And the third one is velocity. So for data to be referred as big data, the rate at which data comes into the system is really fast. So these are 3 V's of big data. Let's crudely visualize big data. So the first aspect is you have a very good server, but the data exceeds that. That's volume. Data comes to you at super fast speed. That's velocity. And data comes to you from multiple sources. So that's question number 1. Exactly. The answer is pretty much a straight no. The point is we have already a capacity of 10 terabytes, okay, and what we are really talking about is 500 GB of data. So we certainly don't need to look at big data from an investment perspective. We don't have to even get there right now because our existing capacities are much more than our demand. What about now? Exactly. The answer is pretty much a straight yes, because in 3 months we'll run out of the steam. So unless there is another solution that can, let's say, hey, let you handle 100 terabyte, even that will soon go off. It makes sense to go for a big data implementation because you can virtually store petabytes of data. So the last question. All right. So again, to the answer of actually all 3 questions, they're pretty subjective because it depends on the manager. It depends on what you call the existing situation and what is our goal. From how from my opinion, in third scenario, we would not use big data because we have 500 GB of data. Okay, my capacity is 10 terabytes and my data is coming through 12 sources. Now, irrespective of what framework I use, I'll have to use some programmed way to handle source of multiple sources of data. Now, if I have 500 GB of data only to process, I may just write my programs to handle and go on with it. So volume isn't really there for me to consider investment where I buy a cluster, I set up a team just for 500 gigs of data. Even if data comes from 12 sources, I'll have to write programs, be it Hadoop, be it big data implementation, be it not big data implementation. Okay. So the point is, unless there is a volume, the chances of you thinking of implementing big data would really be less. Now the point we are trying to really, this exercise is trying to achieve is, in your day-to-day job, you'll have a lot of scenarios where people would say, okay, can we apply big data here or not? And these 3 V's are, the most important aspects that company, and along with that we'll have all the purchase history you've done and what all products you've purchased from us. Now this was also called as a complete holistic view of a customer, let's say. Now in this we were actually fetching data from a lot of sources. We were doing a lot of mathematics behind it, data quality and all that stuff. Again, that was not part of my job. So if you see, the data was coming from Facebook, Twitter, it was coming from a CRM. There was a system where all the calls are logged and we were basically pulling that off. There was another email system where we used APIs to basically fetch and see few emails of yours, and we created one whole UI. So this is basically variety, data coming from multiple sources, and data actually has no linkage. I mean, look at your call logs and Twitter. I mean, you just have to get it and we then merge it, mash it, and just see how we create one proper model for a customer. So that is variety. So does that answer your question, Suresh? Can we use part of the ecosystem for handling velocity and variety? I did not get your question, Anand. So if you could, I can unmute you to understand the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually what I was thinking was if we really have volume, but still we want to use velocity and variety to store it in a different area so we can do BI on it. Is it possible, or is it something that we have to go with everything, storage from having volume in the same machine and then use the velocity and variety to handle it? What I'm trying to think is if we get data in volume, but it is not going to be huge, but it has got a lot of velocity and variety. How do we handle it? Is it okay? Is it something like you have a hierarchy on first volume and then variety and then velocity? Is that the way we decide on Hadoop?
Yeah, exactly. So you are absolutely right. Just a minute. So volume is actually the biggest factor, okay? Because see, when you say let's say, so there is storage and there is processing, okay? Processing can be done in any language. That's a different story. The volume being most important, because if volume wasn't there, why do you need to go for a big data implementation? I mean, already your existing DWs and all that stuff is good for you. So volume and it just has all the baby products. More often than not, you end up going to website and buying 5 more things that you never intended to buy, but just that the site was really personalized and it was serving you right, you go ahead and purchase it. So the point is, in you know, people like insurance, financial domains, healthcare, they all are using this to basically improve the service. And analyzing your data right can really give you edge in the market. So the next generation wars are not going to be on, let's say, people or product. It's going to be around data. So they say that, okay, content is the king and data is the queen. So, you know, big data is certainly a queen and you better take care of her. All right. So I guess we have a question. Just a minute. Okay. We talk about, can we have some use cases of analyzing big data? Well, hundreds of them. We spoke already a few of it. A few can be more like identifying customers who are most important, identifying the best time to perform a maintenance based on usage patterns, analyzing your brand's reputation. So there is a lot of use cases that you will find on the web. How can such huge data be analyzed? All that is fine. Now we understood, okay, what is big data? We understood how it can look like. Basically, there is no form or structure. Third thing is, we now also understand where it is used and why it is important. But how can we analyze this data? The best machine my money can buy me is a few terabytes of storage. You are already talking about 300 or 500 or 1 petabyte of data. How am I supposed to analyze this data? As the volume is beyond the processing and the storage ability of a single physical machine, we need some distributed way. All right, some distributed way has to be used. Then comes the big thing. Wait, distributed systems like MPP, MPI have been around for more than a decade. You have RMI, Corbus, so many other distributed stuff. And it's been around for more than a decade. So do we even need to take this course further? And does the world really need another distributed system? So you've been talking about distributed systems, and you know, it's been like years that we've had exams in our college. We cleared those exams. We know what is a distributed system, how it works. And you're telling that we need another distributed system. First thing, do we really need a course on talking about another distributed system? And fundamentally, does the world really need another distributed system while there are few out there? Well, the answer is yes. The world certainly needs another distributed system, and yes, you certainly need to know about it, and maybe that's why this course is there to facilitate you. So let's see why. What exactly is the dynamics around? So if you look at you know, a typical distributed system, on a very high level, yeah, there are a lot of nitty-gritties inside and integrations inside. On a very high level, what really happens is you have your storage area network, and storage area network is just like, can give you infinite storage, and then you have your app servers which are getting fired on top of that particular storage area network. So what really happens is you have your, let's say, Java program hypothetically. So, and you are analyzing, let's say, 15 terabytes of data, and there are 3 app servers. So each app server will read 5 terabytes of data, process it, and write the output back. So what really happens is programs run on each app server. All the data is on storage area network. Before execution, each server gets data from storage area network, and after execution, each server writes the output to a storage area network. Now this approach had some problems. First and most important problem, there was huge dependency on network, amazing dependency on network. Look at this. You have 3 app servers and you are actually transporting 15 terabytes of data on the wire. Well, gonna be crazy. Scaling up and scaling down is not a smooth process. So when you are, if you are a programmer writing on distributed framework, you would need some idea on how many nodes you are going to run it. I just cannot out of the blue add 100 another nodes and expect the program to work as it was. Partial failures are very difficult to handle. So if there are 100 machines, what if machine 88 failed? It's a serious problem. and you had to handle that as a developer. A lot of processing power is spent on transporting data. So you've seen that. And now what if the data gets updated and there are so many other synchronization issues that you need to handle because there is a common storage. So these were the problems with typical distributed system, and that is where Hadoop comes into picture. Okay, so there were problems with distributed systems, and Hadoop is another distributed system that will basically help you solve these problems. So we've seen what is typical distributed system, we've seen what is big data, we've seen why it deserves your attention, and we come to the end of a topic, what exactly is big data. So we pause here and feel free to shoot your questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer. So question is, which applications are driving big data needs in an organization? Depends on organization. So healthcare, right now healthcare people are using Hadoop, but the real theme is how do we better serve patients with all the data that we have. Financials, people are using majorly for fraud detection and finding best matching product to your need based on your history and history of other guys who appear similar to you. Telecom, better serve customers by providing personalized plans to each one. So a lot of it. Yes, even so we have, how about, so the question is, how about high frequency stock trading? Honestly, I don't know what exact application they are using it for, but I guess, yeah, they must be using it, but yeah, I'm not aware of how exactly they are using it. I might have to read more and get back to you on how exactly stock markets are using it. So the next question is, yeah, I'll get back to you reading this. Yeah. I'm familiar with usage of big data, but how can we use it for data mining? So the point is, this is huge heap of data, and data mining is not it's not as straightforward as it works in a typical way. What people do right now is to make sense of data. You have people like data scientists that they can basically derive a model from the data. Okay, so basically this data being really huge, data mining certainly is possible. You can use pig and hive for your basically querying the data and mining it and seeing what you can do. Along with that, there are languages like R which you can use to create derive mathematical models and mine the data better and play with the data in a better way. Can we predict customer behavior? Of course, but you need a data scientist for that, because as I said that taking all that data, putting it in a proper mathematical models is something that So okay. So big insights from IBM. Haven't had much chance to play with that. What I understand is they have built an analytics product and incorporated Hadoop on it. So basically, having said that, it is just like a tool where you will have to then build models inside. So they give you a lot of stuff which is ready-made. Now, what Big Insight has basically done is simple. Okay, they've abstracted all the moving parts of Hadoop and gave you a high level layer where you can focus on your real business. See, your real business is not to set up Hadoop. Your real business is not to play with Hadoop. Your real business is how do I get my reports or how do I get my insights. Now with tools like Big Insight, they've packaged Hadoop internally where you don't even need to worry about what's inside, how it works. You just worry about what is that your business needs. So does that answer your question, Anand? Then will this replace, again, nobody can predict the future, but I guess it's unlikely. The use cases are different. Hadoop is super good at sequential access and databases are super good at random access. Okay. Another point is databases, all that transactions and all that stuff, which I guess Hadoop isn't intended to. Third and most important part is you cannot update data in Hadoop as of today. So Hadoop is a different animal. Hadoop does not really, the way it looks for, I would safely say next couple of years, Hadoop is not going to replace traditional databases whatsoever. Data scientist is the role I wish to grow in. I am already working on R and SAS apart from DW. What else do I need to learn after learning Hadoop to achieve it? So if you are already working on R and SAS and you let's say learn Hadoop in this particular thing, the only missing piece is how to use Hadoop with R, that connectivity and how to play with it, which is straightforward. I mean using Hadoop as a source to R. So I guess you will pretty much complete the whole picture. Is it true that Hadoop has a single point of failure? The answer is yes and no. The existing production version, yes. The latest version that is not yet in production, no, there are multiple name nodes, so it's not a single point of failure. So does that answer your question, Stephen? All right. Alright guys, I guess that is about it. Hope the demo session gave you complete perspective of what we are going to cover, how we are going to cover, and we had questions too, answers to few of the questions. So yeah, see you soon, and hope the session gave you the complete picture, and hope you guys enjoyed it. Alright. We'll certainly share that with you, so that will give you complete perspective. Yeah. Yeah, so any questions, just drop an email to info@techtrainings.com and it will be great. Yes, Lakshman, sure, not a problem. Satish will take care of that. You'll have the demo shared, sure. That's absolutely not a problem. You'll in fact have it instantly, yeah. All right then, guys. See you then. Take care. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for joining, guys.